Welcome to Biden Brief. The content of the briefing includes: United Farm Workers endorses Biden, says he's an authentic champion for workers and their families. US FTC sues Amazon for allegedly breaking antitrust law and harming consumers. If Trump wins, net zero is dead. FTC lawsuit accuses Amazon of wielding monopoly power over online retail. Hunter Biden sues Giuliani over total annihilation of his digital privacy. United Farm Workers endorses Biden, says he's an authentic champion for workers and their families. Associated Press. The United Farm Workers, UFW, has endorsed President Joe Biden for re-election, citing his support for workers and their families. The UFW, co-founded by Cesar Chavez, has a long history of advocating for labor rights. Biden's campaign manager, Julie Chavez Rodriguez, is the granddaughter of Chavez and the daughter of a former UFW president. The UFW plans to mobilize its members to support Biden in key states, including Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Michigan, and Georgia. This endorsement comes as Biden joined a picket line with United Auto Workers members who are on strike against Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. US FTC sues Amazon for allegedly breaking antitrust law and harming consumers. The Globe and Mail. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has filed an antitrust lawsuit against Amazon, accusing the e-commerce giant of harming consumers with higher prices. The lawsuit, which was joined by 17 state attorneys general, follows a 4-year investigation and similar legal actions taken against Google and Facebook. The FTC alleges that Amazon's actions prevent rivals and sellers from lowering prices, degrade quality for shoppers, overcharge sellers, stifle innovation, and prevent fair competition. The agency is seeking a permanent injunction to stop Amazon's unlawful conduct. Amazon shares fell 3% in response to the news. If Trump wins, net zero is dead. Telegraph. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has congratulated UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak for his stance against climate targets. Sunak has pledged to roll back net zero goals set by the British government, but there have been no visible moves to make changes yet. Trump, who withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Accords, has promised to reverse Biden's Green New Deal if re-elected in 2024. The article suggests that a rollback of net zero action by the UK and the US could lead to other nations following suit, particularly as the cost of net zero becomes clearer. FTC lawsuit accuses Amazon of wielding monopoly power over online retail. Financial Times. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has filed a lawsuit against Amazon, accusing the company of using anti-competitive strategies to maintain a monopoly in online markets. The case, which is one of the largest tests of FTC Chair Lina Khan's more aggressive stance towards big tech, alleges that Amazon prevented competitors and sellers from lowering prices, overcharged sellers, and stifled innovation and competition. The lawsuit comes after the FTC separately sued Amazon in June for allegedly tricking customers into signing up for its Prime service without their consent. Amazon is facing several other legal challenges. Hunter Biden sues Giuliani over total annihilation of his digital privacy. South China Morning Post. Hunter Biden has sued Rudy Giuliani and lawyer Robert Costello over the alleged hacking and manipulation of data from his purported laptop. Biden claims the pair accessed a copy of a hard drive left at a repair shop and tampered with the data for financial gain. Earlier this year, Biden sued the shop owner and the U.S. Internal Revenue Service over the disclosure of his tax information. Giuliani, who has also been sued by Costello's firm for unpaid legal fees and found liable for defamation, is facing criminal charges of conspiracy to keep Donald Trump in office after losing the 2020 election. Hunter Biden sues Rudy Giuliani for hacking his laptop. Telegraph. Hunter Biden, the son of U.S. President Joe Biden, has filed a lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani and his former lawyer, Robert Costello, accusing them of unlawfully accessing his laptop's data and sharing it with the media. Biden claims that Giuliani and Costello were sent a copy of his hard drive by the owner of a computer shop where he had left his laptop for repairs. The lawsuit alleges that Giuliani took data from the laptop, which suggested Joe Biden had met with Hunter's Ukrainian employers, and gave it to reporters from the New York Post. Hunter Biden sues Trump ally Rudy Giuliani over data breach allegations. Al Jazeera. Hunter Biden, son of U.S. President Joe Biden, has sued Rudy Giuliani and another attorney for accessing and sharing his personal data. The lawsuit accuses Giuliani and attorney Robert Costello of hacking into, tampering with, and disseminating Hunter Biden's data, which was obtained from a computer repair shop in Delaware. The lawsuit also claims that the data was manipulated and damaged. The lawsuit seeks unspecified damages and a court order to return the data and make no more copies. Giuliani and Costello have not yet commented on the lawsuit. This is the latest development in the ongoing controversy surrounding Hunter Biden's laptop and business dealings. Pelosi says it would probably be a good idea for Menendez to resign. The Independent. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said that it would be best for Senator Bob Menendez to resign following his indictment on bribery and corruption charges. Pelosi made the comments during an appearance on Inside with Jen Psaki, where she noted that many New Jersey Democrats have called on Menendez to resign. The senator was indicted on Friday, and authorities seized over $100,000 worth of gold bars and $480,000 in cash. So far, 6 Democratic senators have called for Menendez's resignation, but he has vowed to stay in his Senate seat. Hunter Biden sues Rudy Giuliani and another lawyer over accessing, sharing personal data. The Globe and Mail. Hunter Biden, the son of U.S. President Joe Biden, has filed a lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani and another attorney for accessing and sharing his personal data without authorization. Giuliani, a former personal attorney to President Donald Trump, and attorney Robert Costello are accused of hacking, tampering with and manipulating Biden's data, which was obtained from a computer repair shop. The lawsuit seeks unspecified damages and a court order to return the data and make no more copies. Joe Biden to join UAW workers on picket line. BBC. President Joe Biden is set to join members of the United Auto Workers (UAW) union on the picket line in Michigan, marking the first time a sitting U.S. president has done so. The visit comes as the UAW declared a strike targeting Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, pushing for higher pay and other improvements in new labor contracts. The White House has said that Biden will not engage in negotiations but will show support for the auto workers. The visit is seen as an opportunity for Biden to demonstrate his pro-union stance and appeal to blue-collar workers in the electorally important Rust Belt region. Gun laws become a 2024 issue in an unexpected way. Washington Post. Former U.S. President Donald Trump sparked controversy after he visited a local gun store in South Carolina and expressed interest in purchasing a firearm. A campaign staffer posted a video of Trump considering a gun and initially claimed that he had bought a Glock. However, it was later clarified that Trump had only expressed an intention to purchase the weapon. Federal law prohibits Trump from being sold a firearm because he is under federal indictment. Background checks are required for anyone purchasing firearms in the U.S., with around 2.2 million denials since 1998. Hunter Biden sues Rudy Giuliani and another lawyer over accessing and sharing of his personal data. The Toronto Star. Hunter Biden has filed a lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani and another attorney, claiming that they accessed and shared his personal data without authorization. The lawsuit alleges that Giuliani and attorney Robert Costello hacked into Biden's devices and manipulated, copied, and disseminated his data, violating computer hacking laws in the process. The suit seeks unspecified damages and a court order to return the data and prevent further dissemination. This is the latest legal action taken by Hunter Biden in response to efforts by Republican allies of former President Donald Trump to discredit his father, President Joe Biden. Congress is moving into crisis mode as time runs short to avoid a government shutdown. The Toronto Star. As the possibility of a government shutdown looms, tensions are rising in Congress. Speaker Kevin McCarthy is facing opposition from hard-right Republicans who want to cut spending, even if it means reducing federal services for millions of Americans. McCarthy is trying to secure support for a package of bills to fund parts of the government, but it is unclear whether he will be successful. Meanwhile, the Senate is working on a bipartisan plan for a stopgap measure to keep offices funded past the deadline. However, attempts to add additional aid for Ukraine have faced opposition from Republicans. President Joe Biden has urged House Republicans not to renege on the debt deal he made with McCarthy earlier this year. A government shutdown would have serious consequences for the U.S. economy and the lives of millions of Americans. It is also taking place against the backdrop of the 2024 elections, with former President Donald Trump encouraging Republicans to shut it down. The hard-right Republicans are calling for McCarthy to abandon the deal with Biden and stick to earlier promises for spending cuts. Hunter Biden sues former Trump lawyer over total annihilation of digital privacy. The Guardian. Hunter Biden has filed a lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani and his attorney, accusing them of violating his digital privacy by attempting to link his legal and personal issues to his father, President Joe Biden. The lawsuit alleges that Giuliani and his attorney dedicated an extraordinary amount of time and energy to accessing, tampering with, and disseminating Biden's data. The suit seeks unspecified damages and orders to stop further use or manipulation of the data. Giuliani obtained Hunter Biden's data during the 2020 election in an attempt to damage Joe Biden's campaign. Not again. Federal workers who've weathered past government shutdowns brace for yet another ordeal. Associated Press. Federal workers in the U.S. are preparing for the possibility of another government shutdown, which would mean they would work without pay. Workers are already struggling to make ends meet and would find it even harder if they had to go without pay for an extended period of time. The last shutdown in 2018-19 lasted for 35 days. China remains uncommitted to Xi Jinping's attendance at APEC summit. South China Morning Post. China and the U.S. are still seeking a diplomatic compromise to allow Chinese President Xi Jinping to attend the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation (APEC) summit in San Francisco. The potential meeting between Xi and U.S. President Joe Biden was high on the agenda during talks between Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan earlier this month. However, China has demanded certain commitments from the U.S., including avoiding provocative actions over Taiwan and the shooting down of a suspected surveillance balloon. The two countries are working to resolve their differences. Hunter Biden sues Rudy Giuliani and another lawyer over accessing, sharing of his personal data. Associated Press. Hunter Biden is suing Rudy Giuliani and another attorney, alleging that they obtained and shared his personal data after acquiring it from the owner of a Delaware computer repair shop. Hunter Biden is attempting to counter Republican allies of former President Donald Trump who have shared his private data, including emails and embarrassing images, in an effort to discredit his father, President Joe Biden. The lawsuit accuses Giuliani and attorney Robert Costello of hacking into, tampering with, and manipulating the data, leading to the total annihilation of Biden's digital privacy. It also alleges that the data has been manipulated, altered, and damaged since it was sent to Giuliani and Costello. The lawsuit seeks unspecified damages and a court order to return the data and make no more copies. Biden's son Hunter sues Giuliani, lawyer over alleged data breach. Reuters. Hunter Biden, the son of U.S. President Joe Biden, has filed a lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani and Giuliani's former lawyer Robert Costello, accusing them of violating his privacy over data allegedly taken from his laptop. The lawsuit alleges that Giuliani and Costello were responsible for the total annihilation of Biden's digital privacy. This is the latest lawsuit filed by Biden, who is also facing federal gun charges. He has previously sued a former White House aide and the U.S. Internal Revenue Service. Hunter Biden is seeking punitive damages and the restoration of any data that Giuliani and Costello still possess. Unprecedented secrecy in Google trial as tech giants push to limit disclosures. New York Times. The antitrust trial against Google, the first monopoly case of the Internet era, is shaping up to be one of the most secretive in decades. Google, Apple, and Microsoft have filed motions to limit transparency in the trial, with more than half of the testimony last week given behind closed doors. Apple has also asked for Eddie Q's testimony on its search agreement with Google to be given behind closed doors, as it believes the Justice Department's lawyer could inadvertently reveal confidential information. The lack of transparency has angered legal and antitrust experts, with Digital Context Next, a trade group representing media companies, asking for testimony to be made public. The judge, Amit P. Mehta, has not yet responded to the motion. Biden set to make unprecedented presidential visit to auto workers' picket line. CBC. U.S. President Joe Biden has shown unparalleled support for labor unions by joining United Auto Workers strikers on the picket line. Experts say that no sitting president has ever joined a strike before, even those who were pro-union. Biden has previously shown support for unionization efforts and passed an executive order promoting worker organizing. Union support is enjoying broad public support, with 67% of Americans approving of labor unions, but private sector union membership rates have plummeted since the 1980s. Biden has argued that the auto companies have not done enough to satisfy the UAW during the strike. Well, folks, that's a wrap for today's news. We covered a range of topics, from endorsements in the upcoming election to antitrust lawsuits against Amazon and Google, and even some drama involving Hunter Biden and Rudy Giuliani. It's always interesting to see how the political and legal landscapes evolve, and these stories certainly gave us some food for thought. First, we had the United Farm Workers endorsing President Biden, citing his support for workers and their families. It's no surprise that Biden is gaining support from labor unions, given his history and policies. And speaking of endorsements, former President Trump congratulated UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak for his stance against climate targets. If Trump were to win in 2024, it could have implications for the global climate change fight, but let's hope that doesn't happen. In other news, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission filed an antitrust lawsuit against Amazon, accusing them of breaking the law and harming consumers. This comes as no surprise, as Amazon has faced scrutiny for its market dominance for quite some time. And speaking of lawsuits, Hunter Biden is suing Rudy Giuliani over the alleged hacking of his laptop. The drama continues, folks. We also had some lighter news, with President Biden set to join the United Auto Workers on the picket line in Michigan. This is a historic move, as no sitting president has ever done this before. It's a clear display of his pro-union stance and his commitment to supporting blue-collar workers. And on the topic of guns, former President Trump caused a stir when he expressed interest in purchasing a firearm. But don't worry, folks, federal law prohibits him from doing so because he's under federal indictment. Lastly, tensions are rising in Congress as a government shutdown looms. This could have serious consequences for the U.S. economy and the lives of millions of Americans. Let's hope they can come to an agreement before it's too late. Well, folks, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's news and analysis. Remember, your thoughts and opinions are always welcome. What do you think about these stories? Do you have any burning questions? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world of news. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.